Hi, hi guys. Welcome to another webinar with ADDMORE Services. And today we're going to focus on freelancing made better and how ADDMORE empowers independent contractors, specifically in the Philippines. Um, and we will discuss why more Filipino freelancers are shifting to ADDMORE instead of the traditional platforms of Fiverr, Upwork, and Freelancer. And today, the speakers will be myself, Colin Adley. I am the president and the managing member of ADDMORE Services, and I'm joined by our HR officer, Len Fernandez. Hi, Len. Nice to see you.
Hi, hello, Colin.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Okay, so let's get into it then. So, a quick overview of ADDMORE Services. We're a specialist company in the bespoke business solutions, focusing on offshore outsourcing, both project-based and professional talent. So project-based being scope of work, task related, where we actually do the service, and professional talent, where we provide people to fulfill roles offshore, but integrate into the onshore teams controlled by the onshore management. We're headquartered here in the United States in Las Vegas, and Len is working out of our premises in the Philippines, in Manila. And we have a prominent talent presence in the company, actually from the Philippines, but also a growing presence from Latin America and more recently, South Africa. You may ask why these three countries? Well, for America, specifically the East and Central America, Latin America is more time zone aligned. So professional talent doesn't have to work night shifts to be able to provide a service, and that is particularly useful. Plus, in Miami and other southern states, Spanish is a well-spoken language, so the bilingual benefits of Spanish-speaking people is good for us and for the clients. The Philippines is the heart of ADDMORE, where we started, where the majority of our team are, and a lot of our Philippines team do provide services to the USA. But the Philippines is specifically very well placed to work in the Middle East and the UK and Australia. And for the UK, also, we have our South Africa office, which we predominantly only utilize at the moment for South Africa and to some extent Australia, and that will be growing over time. We offer services that help businesses to achieve a seamless operation with measurable growth without increasing their fixed cost. And we've got I'm personally, it's my 50th year in construction and very used to working. I worked in Dubai for 20 years, where initially back in 1994, most of the suppliers, vendors, materials were coming in from outside of Dubai. So outsourcing, it was not a new concept to me, but ADDMORE was created out of the COVID era, where there was literally no work locally here in Vegas. And we started in September 28th, 2020 with ADDMORE Services, and we're just coming up for our 50th year anniversary. The reason, I'll just speak a little bit later and you can come in, I think, on the next one, is that why are more Filipino freelancers shifting to ADDMORE? Well, global platforms like Fiverr, Upworks, and Freelancer, although very popular, they weren't really built with Filipinos in. ADDMORE changes that game by putting Filipino freelancers first. And what do we mean by that? Our company was originally built specifically for the Filipino freelance community and is still a large core of the company. We're designed with local support in place, like Lenny's in Manila for our people to speak to on the same time zone. We have our office manager, Priscilla. We have marketing team, sales team, everybody based mainly in Manila, but also some people in Cebu. And we're designed with local support in mind. with how to make payments, and all of those things are well resolved, work smoothly, and it's more personal, more empowering, and more sustainable working with ADDMORE. And we understand the culture. My wife's from the Philippines. I lived in the Philippines for 5 years. Most of the staff, like Len, worked with me overseas in the Middle East. We've worked together for probably best part of 20 years now. Um, it's even though we're a remote team now, we used to work together in a company in the Middle East for, I would say, 30–40% of the company.
Yes.
But of course, as the company is growing, we are bringing in new people, but all people that are pre-vetted and pre-qualified. So, Len, if you would like to take on the next bit.
Yes, sure. Okay. Build for Filipino freelancers. So we paid attention to what Filipino freelancers really need. So let's talk about support. Ever try contacting customer service on Fiverr or Upwork? You usually get automated replies or someone who doesn't understand where you're coming from. With us, you talk to real people. Our support team understand your language, your culture, even the typical work challenges you face. So we also build in community. That's why we offer webinars like this, mentorship program, and exclusive freelancer events. So you're not just working alone. You're part of a real support system. And even if you have a dispute with a client, our dispute team is local savvy. We understand Filipino work ethics, timelines, and expectations. Yeah,
Yes,
that's for.
and Len being available to all our any professional talent that works with us from the Filipino teams. Len can be there. They've got their line managers, but Len's always available to help and get involved and make sure that any misunderstandings or clarifications required are resolved immediately and amicably for everybody. She does a great job.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the other thing that is really good for everybody is that you get, as a Filipino freelancer working for us, actually it's not lower fees. There are no fees for working with us. Zero fee. You don't pay us anything. So you have a higher take-home pay. If you work with freelancers, freelance platform or Fiverr, Upwork, you can lose 10–20% of the rate that you're getting to the platform per their terms and conditions. We don't do that. We just find the right people, and then we place them in good companies where they can gain good experience and provide value to the businesses. Everything we do is transparent. We pay competitive rates. We normally aren't negotiating rates particularly. We will ask the professional person, who is very aware of their local market worth, what rate they would like to receive. And generally, as long as the person is fair and reasonable, we try our best to meet that. In some cases, if they are a little bit over budget, it depends on where we're working. If we're working for a large company who's got an office in the Philippines and they're used to paying Philippine rates, of course, our rates will be less than if we're working for an American company, and rates are slightly different between America, UK, and the Middle East. But depending what rate we're getting, that drives our budget. But generally speaking, most of the people who are working for us, I would say that the rate they're earning today is higher than the rate they started on, and the rate that they started on was the rate that they requested themselves.
Right.
We also are designed with local living costs in mind. We know what it costs to live in the Philippines, and we know we don't want to underpay anybody. We're not in the business of cheap labor because our business is focused on professional talent for the architectural, engineering, construction. We employ people who have a degree, they have a master's, they're a licensed architect, a licensed civil engineer. These are professional, highly educated, well-qualified people, and they should be reimbursed accordingly. But on the same token, the cost of living in those countries, for example, in the Philippines, is literally a third of the cost of the living costs in the USA. As a direct comparison, I know that personally. So when the rates are lower, they are the market related rates that we pay. But obviously, the expenditure that they're going to spend living locally in the Philippines is less. So many of the people are earning very,
Yes.
very good incomes in comparative to their outgoings, and are very happy to do that. And many of them are returned. In fact, we actually actively seek people who've worked, Filipinos who've worked offshore because they have experience mixing with more foreigners. They have experience uh, working with international companies, British, American, and so on. It's a good exposure for them, and we find they're better adapted to working to this work from home remote system, which enables them to stay at home with their family. The work day is more flexible. It's not a set structured day as long as it's structured to deliver the products when required, and as per the client requirements. So they're, and in the Philippines, those of you who know Manila in particular, you might only live 10 miles from work, but if you're going to commute there, it might take you 2 hours to get to work.
Yes.
So somebody working for us is probably saving 3 to 4 hours minimum a day in commuting, which is time that they can spend with their family, with their friends, their loved ones, and looking after an elderly parent. Single mother can be more present with her child. So all of these things they can be attending with school days, graduations. There's a lot more flexibility that able to join them, where traditionally a lot of overseas foreign workers, as they call them in the Philippines, go off to to Dubai, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Singapore, all over the world, and may be away for 5, 7 years before they get back. Not everybody comes back every 1 year, 2 years to their home. So they spend long times away, sacrificing themselves to provide for their families at home. And we recognize that. And that's why they keep more of what they earn. I mean, I think, Len, you worked away, what, 16 years at least, I think?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, so a long time away from your family, your children, a lot of sacrifices made. And, now that you're working from home, that you can be with your family, and it's important that you get well paid and that you keep more of what you earn. And we know that, word of mouth is everything. We have a lot of referrals from not only for our clients, but from our team members who recommend colleagues, ex-colleagues, or people who are we're actively always looking for anybody coming back from America with American experience, so that we can offer them remote work because they already familiar with the system in the US, and even retired guys who are retiring a little bit earlier than traditional. We can even offer part-time solutions. So lots of opportunities and flexibilities with ADDMORE. It's more personal. It's more, yeah, it's a more one-to-one personal. You're dealing with me. You're dealing with Len. You're dealing with Priscilla. Um, it's not a giant company. We're a company of 100 people. We might grow to 150, but we have no intention of getting any bigger than that. We're not competing with the 2,000 people BPO type companies. We're not a customer care contact center using a different quality of people. We're using highly qualified, highly professional, highly experienced, locally and internationally work base. And it's our pleasure to work with them in their own country to enable them to have a better life at home, for us to have that professional support of people that we feel confident to share with our overseas clients. And it's just a win-win for everybody. So, Lenny, can you run us through the onboarding process?
That is, all right. Okay. One of the things that really frustrates a lot of freelancers on other platforms is the onboarding process, just getting started. So some platforms make you go through so many steps. You have to provide documents that don't even apply to you locally. Or worse, you need a foreign bank account just to get paid. It's confusing, time-consuming, and honestly unnecessary. So at AddMore, we are taking a totally different approach. We've made onboarding as simple, straightforward, and locally friendly as possible. When you sign up, the process is clear and easy to follow. No complicated forms, no jumping through hoops. We accept the local IDs you already have. So no need to stress about documents that are only available overseas or require extra expense to get. So at when it comes to getting paid, we made it just as smooth. You can receive payments through channels you already trust and use. We have the Western Union, the Payoneer, the Remitly, which can send directly to your local bank. So you don't need to open a foreign currency account or figure out international wire transfer. Just pick the method that works best for you and your earnings go straight to your hands, fast and dependably. This means you can start quickly, start taking on jobs sooner, and most importantly, start earning right away. So no delays, no confusion, just a smooth process that respects your time and your needs as a Filipino freelancer. That's for
Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
a very good point there, Len, that you've made. That the payment, we particularly looked. We could have we use QuickBooks as a for our accounting, and QuickBooks. If I used the vendor payment system in there for freelancers, it would mean that would have to have a US dollar bank account in the Philippines.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
whilst that would be better for me to control it through QuickBooks, because I have all in the documentation and costs and analytics in one place, my wife, who is from the Philippines, she's from Pampanga, she had explained to me that that could cause a lot of difficulties and slow the system down for a lot of people. So she looked and she found that ways to make payments to people that can do that without, as Len said, without you don't have to create a foreign bank account. Now saying that, um, we normally we pay twice a month on the 15th of the month and the 30th of the month.
Mm,
So we receive them. I normally get all the documents within a couple of days. And then normally within, I think it's within maximum 48 hours, 72 hours, everyone's paid. So from the date you put your invoice in, you're normally paid within 5 days. I think in our contract agreements, we say 7 days just to give a bit of float in case, because when you have 100 people, that's a lot of timesheets to sort out and send to us. Then I have to review them. Then my wife has to process them. But I would say generally within 5 days from your invoice date, which is the 15th and the 30th, you will have the money in your bank. Because when we send the money, the beauty is with these systems like Remitly and Pioneer, we
yes.
send the money from here within 3 hours in the Philippines. It's in your bank account. It's very
Mhm.
fast. Once we've done all the process and approvals, it goes very quickly.
Right.
So payment is hassle free. Len, we have a video recording which we made to assist people with a bit of the onboarding. But then Len does a personal one-on-one onboarding with everybody who works for us. And she is always there in addition to your team leader, your job captain, to your department leader, to account managers, to the office manager, to me. Lenny's always the one there that you can phone if you're not sure about a process. She's familiar with everything. She is there to be, if you like, we have customer success people, but we need freelancer success people. She's there to make everything as easy for you to follow. She explains everything from at the beginning in the onboarding, how we set up an ADDMORE domain email. Len will run through that with you, all of the process, and makes it exceptionally easy. And normally on the first day of working with us, the onboarding is completed. And by the afternoon of that day or the next day, you're working and you're earning money. That's the important thing, I think. This one is
All right.
is a little bit smarter job matching, less competition. Yeah. So as I said, we are not a big company. We pride ourselves being on a custom bespoke company dealing with a niche service. So we focus on architects, contractors, and engineers, and we deal with the right types of clients. We often get a lot of referrals, so we're not competing with every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there for the work. What we're promising our clients is that we will give them the right people for the job who are on par or better than the people they have already in their office. And by using us as an outsourcing service, they're not increasing their fixed overhead costs. They're able to, it's just a project expense. So we have a very focused job creation based on all our different profiles. We have a very fair rate structure, as I mentioned earlier, to our clients as well as to our people. And we focus on quality of people, quality of clients over quantity of either. And there are a lot of opportunities in virtual assistants. We don't really provide virtual assistants like there's a lot of companies from the Philippines offering virtual assistants. That's something that's not really a key focus for us. As I said before, it's more the professional talent, the architects, civil engineers, BIM modelers, quantity surveyors, estimators. However, we do offer back of house service to clients in the AEC industry. So if our client said, look, I'm having a problem with, I need an accounts payable person, I need a bookkeeper, I need an executive secretary to help me. In those cases, we would find people which would fall in the virtual assistant sort of category sector that's out there. But our people would be, we wouldn't be taking somebody that's 1 or 2 years out of university as an executive secretary. She would probably have had to be working at least 10 years for an executive secretary for us. And she would be compensated much better than she would be compensated in virtual assistant companies who, if you can see them advertising on the internet every day, Facebook will give you a virtual assistant for $4 an hour. Well, if they're selling their service at $4 an hour, what rate do you think they're paying the Filipino freelancer? It's not a lot of money, that's for sure, and it's definitely below the market value. We don't we would not pay anybody below the market value for any service that we offer. And we would not compete with those companies that are offering services for $6 an hour, because it's like comparing Ferrari to a Toyota Corolla. And we're the Ferrari, we're not a Toyota Corolla. So I think it's important that we match you to jobs that if you're somebody with a lot of skill sets in high-rise towers, interiors or exteriors, we put you in the right job so that the round peg in the round hole, as they say. So it's something that you're familiar with, that you can perform better, you can excel better, you can add value to everybody's business, and we're more than happy to then maintain you on our team. So far, we're just 5 years new. A lot of the core team still remain with the company for the full 5 years. As much as outsourcing is a roller coaster of work, we have a good widespread base of clients, and with most people who are talented and skilled at what they do, we can give them certainly a long-term run for their project. Some people, it suits them. They only want to do a 2-month job or a 3-month job or a part-time job. And we focus on that and ensure the right person gets the right job.
Yes.
Would you like to run through this one then?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, in ADDMORE, we are the platform that invests in you. So we're not just giving you gigs, we're helping you build a career. So one thing that really sets ADDMORE apart is this: we don't just connect you to jobs, we invest in your growth. At ADDMORE, we build in building careers, not just giving out gigs, especially in the AEC industry, where you work directly support complex, high-value projects. That's why we offer certification programs, trainings to help you level up your professional skills, stay updated with industry standards, and boost your credibility with clients. Whether it's learning better client communication, managing remote project workflows, or improving how you present your portfolio, we are here to get you better to go further. So it is really important for AEC freelancers like architects, engineers, and draftsmen. Why? Because clients aren't just looking for someone who can do the work. They're looking for someone who can communicate well, manage deadlines, and understand construction standards. We help you become that person. So what's the bottom line? We're here to support your long-term success, not just pass you a job and walk away. You're not just another freelancer in database. You are part of growing community of AEC professionals who want to thrive, not just survive. So that what it means when we say add more, invest in you. Yes.
That's very well put, Len. And the important part about that is the trust, the transparency, and respect. Everybody, we have policies, a lot of policy in that more. I used to run major companies as COO, CEO. We are just getting ISO certified 9001 2015. We have good policies in place. So it's transparent on how you should work and what to do. We support you. Everything, the workflows are clear, the processes are clear, the policies are clear. Our respect for each other is a basic right of every person in ADDMORE, and we do not tolerate any type of, bullying or different overly egotistical people. Everybody does an important job within the company, from myself to the one of the drafters. Everybody is treated the same, and as they should. We're all human beings. We all have our specific skill sets, and that's the way life should be done in ADDMORE and out of ADDMORE. For my personal belief, I'm also a Catholic, so a Christian person, as is the majority of my workforce. So we're aligned with that. We understand the religious holidays, because that is also my religious holidays. So we understand the culture and trust. When we agree something, we have a comprehensive independent contractor agreement, and the purpose being of that is that it really spells everything out, and then you can trust that we will abide by our part of everything that's contained within that agreement. And you can put that in the bank as a sure bet. We have very transparent policies, and the fee structure is very clear. It's set up in the agreement when you're going to get paid, how you're going to get paid. Everything is very clear during that onboarding. And with Len and Priscilla in particular, I can only speak high enough of them that they really give real human support, and feedback channels are open. It's not an AI robot or watch this vid. It's not all about watch this video, go to this PDF, follow that brochure. No, you speak to Len, you speak to Priscilla, you're speaking to real people. As we grow, they will probably get some assistance eventually, but for now, you speak to me directly, you speak to our other senior people directly, account managers and the like. So real human support. It's not AI. We're here available to discuss your concerns and to put your mind at ease and enable you to relax and focus on your job. A freelancer first environment that values partnership over profit. For me, I'm not a 21-year-old guy. It's not all about making millions of dollars. If at my age I haven't made enough money, I'm probably in trouble. For me, I get a lot of pleasure to mentor young people at this age. I'm coming towards the end part of my career. There's more behind me than there's ahead of me, as we say in Ireland. But I like to think that we can help some people to gain some. They may be based in the Philippines, but working through us, get some international high-profile project exposure that they wouldn't get unless they went overseas and had to leave their families. But by working with us, they're going to get exposed to those projects, expand their skill sets, and it will be a big benefit to them. So it truly is a freelancer first environment, because without the freelance team, there is no ADDMORE either. But also, people matter, And, it's not about always a quick dollar here and there everywhere. So whatever we do and say, quality, value, trust, they're my core values. And we live and we act accordingly. So on this one, I think we can just say, Len, that freelancing is made better. It starts here. It starts with
Yeah.
ADDMORE. We are not freelancing platformers per se. We're your partner in growth, as Len was saying earlier.
Mm.
We're here to help you to succeed, not just struggle along and just live from check to check. We want you to succeed in your career growth, your skill growth, in your financial growth as you grow in the steps of your experience. And the company was originally designed to be a sole Filipino freelancer uh, basis. It has developed more, a little bit more. I would say we're still 90% Filipino based, but there is a need for Latin America, for definitely for the East Coast of America. It just because it isn't easy. If you're an architect and you've got 20 years experience, you've got a degree, you've got a master's, and you've got to work in Miami, so you're working from 9 o'clock at night in Manila till 6 in the morning. That might be okay in a call center, but somebody with that type of experience and knowledge, not always willing to do that. So for those roles, some people are happy to do night shift. We can accommodate them. Where we have two different business models. So let me just explain that for a minute, because we do project specific work and professional talent outsourcing. What is the difference? Let's give you an example. The project specific is we do the estimate. You give us the drawings, scope of work, we give you a price, we agree terms. On those terms and deliverable dates, we deliver the estimate to you, and you pay us, and that's a relationship. When it's that type of relationship, I generally, for that business model, only use my Filipino teams, because there's no requirements for night shift work or outside normal working hours. They can work normal Filipino hours, and it actually complements the daytime hours of the USA anyway. So that works really well. The other side of it is where we're not doing the estimate, it's professional talent. We're providing the estimators. So somebody will contact us, say, we don't need you to do the estimate, Colin, but I've got a lot of work on. I need 3 estimators for 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever the time period is. So Len, I, and our people in Latin America, South Africa, we will look, if it's an America job, we will look in the Philippines, and if there are people who are willing to do, if they want you, they normally, when they hire professional talent like that, they want the team zone alignment. So if the Len will look for people who are happy to work night shift if it suits their lifestyle. Um, if not, we're looking in Latin America with our account manager there, Ivana. She's in Venezuela. She's looking, and if it's for the UK, Kamo, who is our one of our business associates, again based in Joburg, South Africa, where I lived for 9 years. I mean, I lived in the Philippines 5 years. I lived in South Africa 9 years. I am personally a US citizen, American citizen, British citizen, an Irish citizen, and a South African citizen. So I got more passports than James Bond. So I understand the culture in all these countries. I've lived and worked there. The only place I didn't work was South America, but I didn't work there permanently, but I did a lot of business transaction with companies, particularly in Brazil, where we used to buy a lot of granite materials and stone materials from there. So I've been to Brazil many times. I've been to Argentina a couple of times, but now Latin America is growing, and we're looking at Venezuela and Colombia are two of the main sources at the moment. But it was designed for Filipino freelancers, and the majority of the company is still Filipino. And the only reason, as I say, that we have really looked at Latin America is for the professional talent model, where people want to hire professionals from me on a monthly rate aligned on their time zones. And then my first look is always looking in the Philippines. If I can't find the right type of people who are willing to undertake, many people say they will do night shift, but I know I've done it in the past in my career. It's very hard to sustain long time working night shift, unless you're. It depends on your home life. You know, if you've got young children, older children, are you caring for elderly parents? It all depends. So Len will identify for me the people that will fit the roles. And if I don't, I normally look first in the Philippines, and if I can't find there, I will already be start my search in Latin America. As we said earlier, we are focused on fair pay, market rates. We don't pay over the rate particularly, but we do pay the right rate for the right experience. And we generally don't take people, I don't think we've got anybody with less than 7 years and a post degree. The average in our company would be 10 years with a degree, and we have many with 15 years with a degree and a master's. So we want to set ourselves apart from other companies in that we vet our people well. Now, we get asked by people, oh, why don't you work from an office in the Philippines? Well, since COVID, we found that that wasn't necessary. And with all the traffic in the Philippines and the 7,600 islands, so now I can work with all the best talent across the Philippines because they're able to work remotely. Where if I was based just in Manila, as I used to be for 5 years, people that are in Mindanao or Cebu are not always willing to leave their home and relocate to Manila. So it would limit me in the talent pool. It would limit me to a Metro Manila Luzon talent pool, which would maybe not be best for my business. So if a client particularly wants an office set up with the professional talent option, we can arrange that. But it's not something we really prefer because we, as we said, we were designed for Filipinos. And what I noticed myself, having lived in Dubai for years, our overseas foreign workers sacrifice a lot to be away from their families. So, and the ones that work in the Philippines were generally, if you work in an office for a Philippine company, you're paid lower salaries and you have to travel a lot to get to work and you're still away a lot from your family. It's very tiring and not for the greatest salaries. Anybody working for us as an independent contractor, which so they've got their own little business, is earning more money than they would if they worked in a Philippine company. That's a given. And if you think you're saving 3 to 4 hours a day by not commuting, that's another big thing. All we ask is you have the right internet connection, the right laptop, hard PC, etc. So we are still reflecting very much how we were designed for Filipino freelancers, where that we're not promoting to be based out of one office because the majority of people that work for us anyway are more than happy to be remote, more than happy to work from home. They have themselves set up properly with the right facilities. We pre-qualify that. If you want to join us, that's part of the pre-qualification process. And then you join us and it works really well. And everybody has a more flexible arrangement. We're built to help you thrive, not just survive. Len said it earlier, but that's not just words on a paper. That's the actions that we do every day of the week. So I know we've been talking for a little while. I don't know if anybody's got any questions. If you would like to drop them in the chat box, and Len and I will be more than happy to reply and to the best of our abilities. If no one has any questions now, anybody who's attending the webinar will automatically get a copy of this recording and the slideshow, and you'll be able to look at it then. If you want to join the company, I see it's come in a question from MC. Len, I think the best way is there's two options really. You go to our website, which is www.addmoreservices.com, and you go to the career page. You can contact there. You'll see the roles that are currently open. And if you don't fit one of the current roles, you can also register your CV, your profile there. Or you can also, or separately, email Len at hrofficer at addmoreservices.com, and she is happy to receive those directly as well. But they're the two. The best option initially is to go through the website, I would think. But if you want to contact Len directly, it's HR officer at addmoreservices.com. So I hope that answered you clearly for that. You will get the recording of this webinar anyway, so you'll hear what I said. You can play it back. Okay, so I spoke too quick, or my accent is a bit confusing. Having lived all over the world, I don't think my accent sounds like anywhere anymore. Is there anybody else who would have any questions? We'll be happy to answer them. It's been a pleasure for me to work in the Philippines, to be honest. I mean, everyone says it's more fun in the Philippines, but it really is. I mean, the people are very professional, very well educated. Good for me. Everyone speaks good English. Half my family is now Filipino, so through my wife. So I work. My brother-in-law is in the company. He's a Filipino, and we have my brother-in-law even here. Could you email us for the shortest email? Is it HR? Yes, that is correct, as you typed it, 100%. So that's Marissa has taken your email down there, Lynn.
All right.
Okay, let me see, as no one else is really asking anything at the moment. Yeah, so if you go to the website, you go to the career page, where you see it there, you'll go to the website, you click career page, and all the roles are there, and our current job openings. And when you get the recording of this, when you'll be able to click the join now, it will take you straight to the website, I believe, when you get the recording from it. And we have quite a lot of roles open. I think there's 15 or 20 roles, Len. There's quite a lot of roles.
Yes.
Currently, we are
Yes.
actively looking for people, and particularly looking for people with USA experience, um, who are architects. And I'm looking for schedulers, document controllers, quantity surveyors who have got experience in high-end fit out. And there's many more, and they're all detailed on the website. And we were more than happy to receive your application. Please make sure that you update your CVs. A lot of people, I've noticed, they've been working on major companies, major projects, Philippines offshore. They've come back to the Philippines for maybe a year. They're doing freelance jobs, and they just stopped their CV in September 2024. You need to update it. We need to know that you are freelancing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You've come back and you're freelancing. You're no longer with a major court, you're not like with Arcadis for the next 10 years. We understand that. So it's important your CV's up to date. Everything's there, all the information, your skill sets regarding which software tools you can use and to what level. Yeah, it's important to level, because everybody can list down 20 softwares, but if I put you on a test, I'm sure only 3 or 4 of them you would be really competent on. So just be fair, be honest, and it will be better for everybody at the end of the day. I think that's all I've got for Milan. Is Len anything
Yes.
you would like to share with your fellow Filipinos? You want to speak in Tagalog and say something to them? Go ahead.
Uh, it's okay. If I may add, if you also got a friend who also in the AEC industry, or maybe someone who is great in Revit, AutoCAD, SketchUp, or project scheduling, please feel free to refer them to. We're always looking for skilled professionals who are ready to work remotely and still be part of real construction and design teams.
Yeah, that's good. I think
So,
that's something else important there, Len, is to mention that not every role that we have is going to be immediate. So if you're an architect and you're specializing in, let's say, exteriors of buildings or landscaping, whatever, you can go through the pre-qualification process and get into our talent pool. That means every time we have a job that is suited to your skill sets, you'll be notified. So you may be happy where you are now, or you may be completing the last 6 months of your overseas contract and starting to think, what will you do when you get back to the Philippines? Well, start coordinating with us well in advance, so we know that we can. What is your skill set, and when you can join us?
Okay, so again, visit the page, browse through the listing, and apply to the ones that match your skills. We'd love to have you on board and maybe even on your next construction project, just online instead of on site. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, and for the question about the telephone, we don't particularly encourage telephone use, only because Len will be spending all her day answering the phone. But once you send your resume in and you're registered and she contacts you, if you email her back and you would like to have a number privately, I'm sure Len would share it, or one of the other team members. The main company phone number is in the USA, here in Vegas, so that wouldn't be much good for you. But to get Len's direct contact, you have to share that through email privately. We're not going to disclose that on this webinar. Okay, I thank you for your
Yeah.
questions, Marissa. You kept us busy with a couple of things there and good questions, and we'll be interested to see if you apply to us. But please refer your friends, colleagues, and particularly overseas workers. If they're already overseas and their contracts are ending or they really want to come home, ADDMORE is a solution to stay involved on big projects, still receive much better than the local rate if they come back and we're looking for an additional job in an employer in the Philippines. It gives you a lot of opportunities. And as I said, we are always looking to have a pre-qualified talent pool. It helps us to know that people are coming free in 6 months because work comes to us. I say roller coaster, it comes in all the time, but sooner or later, for sure, that role will be required. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the call today. Those that have been attendees will automatically get the recording, and then we'll start releasing clips of this webinar through our LinkedIn postings, through our digital marketing team. Layla, I'd like to thank you so much for taking your time to
Thank
get a little
you.
bit early today to attend this Pacific time webinar. I really do appreciate that, and
You're welcome.
your contribution to the company and everything you do for me is highly appreciated.
You're
Okay, thank
welcome.
you so much, everybody, and
Thank you.
let's come in and send those CVs. Thank you, guys.
Right.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.